what is popping, everybody? Bailey Strasser here, and this is obviously my show. I try to keep everything positive as I can, but this is one of those topics that just annoys me. And I finally never really talked about it on the show until now, because these last couple days for Bucks fans has been extremely exhausting. And for me, I said at the start of the season I'd give this team a chance. I said I see how I do maybe a month or two in and be like, okay, where are we at? What do we look like? How do we move forward? Didn't really get to see much. Kevin Porter suffered an injury. We just got him back. But in those games that he's been back, he's been a dynamic player. Ryan Rollins came out of his shell. Kuzma's doing slightly better. They moved him to the bench. Portis is having an underwhelming year. There's not really much to say, but everyone hasn't really been the best, as you can say. And Giannis suffered an injury where he was out for a week. They just got him back, and then he left yesterday with another injury where now he's sidelined 2 to 4 weeks, which I don't know what's going on, but it's like everything is just super suspicious. His teammates are saying it's lies. The coach is saying it's lies. ESPN is still standing firm that he wants to be traded. Truthfully, if that's the truth, why would ESPN say it? If ESPN was completely lying about this and making these tampering claims because you want your guys in the the big leagues, that would be liable stuff, and you could get sued for it. There is nothing, and they keep trying to spin this story. At this point, I now start to really believe that it's true, because I don't know what else to think that they keep bringing it up. It was all the talk in this offseason, and then next thing you know, he's with the team. Then this season's going, and that's what I said. I said, you know what? I give this team a chance if I was Giannis. I'd say, let's see how we do a couple months down the line. Maybe till Christmas we'll figure something out. And then they lose to the Wizards, of all teams. Now, I know they beat the Pistons without Giannis last night, shockingly. Yeah, they're a weird team. I don't get it. But, yeah, that was the loss that basically was like, I was actually going to make a video and say it's time to trade Giannis and rebuild. I was going to say it. And then the next day, Giannis takes off all the stuff on his social media. A day later, which was yesterday, Windhorst says that Giannis already requested a trade. He wanted to go to the New York Knicks. And then Shams is already saying that Giannis' agent's already meeting with Milwaukee. Rivers then says, all of this is not true. It's fabricated lies. Do not listen to any of it. His teammates are saying it's lies. I don't even know what to believe anymore, because it's annoying to me. If it's not true, then it's not true. And I don't know what to say. If it's true, if it's true. If it's not true, it's not true. I don't know. It's pissing me off. I mean, this whole thing is actually making me think it's better off that Giannis just leaves, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all of this. But looking at this team, we're 500 with Giannis. We can't even get a win without him. I know, it's insane to me, but the truth is, they're not winning anything in the future. They are not winning a single chip in the future with what they got now. You got rid of Holiday. That was the pinnacle. You getting rid of Holiday for Damian Lillard was the move for the moment. Was a panic. It was a panic button move. Horst thought that Giannis was leaving then. and he hit the panic button, and the next thing you know, the little thing never worked out because he could never. I don't blame the Achilles thing, but that never worked out. Then they let Lopez walk. They let Connaughton walk. They trade Middleton for Kuzma. I know they're trying to make moves for the future, but it's exactly what happened with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. This is exactly the same thing. The ownership not trying to help him in the last couple years. And these are probably the last couple, at some point, Giannis is going to start to look like, he's like Shaq. His athleticism is going to start to weaken, and he's not going to be the same player anymore. That's what's going to start to happen. I get it. I completely get it. But if I were the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't care what anybody says. I would be really actually listening to the trade offers and thinking about what is the best move for Giannis going forward. To be real, that is to trade him. It is time to move on from Giannis. I am sick and tired of people trying to say, well, you need to do everything possible to make him stay. No, if you really believed that you had a chance at a championship, you'd do that. But every single Bucks fan that I know that is a smart person that watches the Bucks clear with their eyes knows they are not winning anything this year. Yes, you can win some games, but in a 7-game series, they do not stand a chance. We've seen that the last 2 years with Indiana. It doesn't matter what team they face. They are not capable of doing anything to win themselves anything. Giannis is better off somewhere else. It's hard to admit it, but it's true. And people need to start waking up and realizing it. Because they're not winning anything in the near future. They are not winning anything in the near future. We need to wake up and move on. Now, of course, the injury dropped today. 2 to 4 weeks with this calf strain. He went down. It was a non-contact injury. A lot of people are saying, oh, perfect timing. He faked the injury. At this point, I don't know. Doc Rivers says he was getting an MRI. 2 to 4 weeks is what they said. Again, I don't know what to think about it. But truthfully, in this time, this is where the Bucks need to start looking at it and going, okay, you know what? We're going to be without Giannis. This might be what it actually looks like. Because this is exactly what was happening with Luka last year. Barely was playing with injuries. Next thing you know, he was traded. It's the same scenarios. The NBA's wanted it. I watched how they played him this year. They weren't calling fouls on him at all. They were trying to do everything possible to make Milwaukee not win games. At this point, I'm so fed up with the NBA entirely that I just want them to shut up, so I'm going to give them their needs. I'm fed up with it. And that's that, and I don't know what else to say. But for what we've had, we did win a championship, we did win a cup game, we've had some great, incredible moments in the postseason with Giannis in the helm, and this will be some definitely memorable things that I'm going to remember for a while. That rivalry with the Celtics, all that stuff. It's going to be hard to realize that we have to move on. It started with, I honestly think it started with firing Bud. We were at the top, and then they hit the panic button and did all that stuff. They fired Bud. They traded Drew for Dame. It was like panic button. They were thinking they were the top, and then they just went downhill from there. I mean, once Giannis officially gets traded, if that happens, I'm sure Horst, he's going to be gone by the end of the year. I'm sure they're going to be like, because that's what happens when you sell your stake to one of the worst owners in all of sports. The Bucks are going to be terrible for years to come. Terrible. But again, the only way they need to be relevant is to trade Giannis. You have nobody to trade except players. You have no picks. If you want a future, you need picks to get. You need picks. Are there teams that are willing to trade for him? Of course, the Knicks are the front runners. Obviously, you'd get in a return. You know, if the Knicks were to trade, I'd say you go for like Karl Anthony Towns and maybe two of their young guys like Diadet or Kolek and a bunch of first round picks. You know, that's what I would do if you're the Knicks. If you're the Warriors, I know everyone wants to see Stephen Curry with Giannis. You know, they already got Jimmy Butler from last year. Giannis joining that crew, that could actually solve a dilemma that they've been trying to face for years. They would trade Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, who's obviously that's the whole drama situation, and he's a guy that really could turn out to be a great player. And maybe another one of those vets like Buddy Hield or one of those younger guys, I don't know, and a bunch of picks. That's possible. You also could go with the Houston Rockets, you know, get some of those guys that aren't even playing, and Giannis could go there and we can get, honestly, the Houston Rockets is a last resort. You wouldn't really get much out of there. Atlanta is a team that makes sense. They have Trae Young, but truthfully, that's their only asset. The only guy you can really get in or out of this trade is Trae Young. Oklahoma City has so many first-round picks and players that are so valued. They already won a championship. If they get Giannis, man, they're going to be winning championships for the next decade. And then, you know, there's all these other teams in there, you know, that could definitely swoop in. I feel like it's going to have to be a team from the West or the Knicks because, truthfully, there's not really much to say. But I don't know what's going to happen. These next week and a half is going to be very pivotal in determining the future. If the Bucks continue to lose games in the next week or two before Giannis is even available or ready to come back, you got to get rid of him. You're not winning this year. You're not winning in the future. It's not happening this year. You got to look to the future. You got to go back to this own the future. That's what you got to do. They're not winning anything, and I don't want to sound like a pessimist, but they're not winning anything in the future. That's the truth. I'm thankful that we got to witness so many great memories with Giannis, if that's the case. But as of right now, that is all I'm going to say. Like what I see, comment below, subscribe with your thoughts, and as always, we'll see you next time. Go Bucks.